Most veterans think their back pain comes from running, rucking, or lifting heavy in the gym. But what if I told you the real cause usually sneaks in after the workout? And the fix is easier than you think. I'm Dr. Peralta, physical therapist, run coach, exercise physiologist, and Marine veteran. I've worked with hundreds of people, including veterans who struggled with all sorts of orthopedic conditions like low back pain, and even those who already tried PT in the past and didn't have as much success, or tried injections or surgery. And in this video, I'm going to give you the truth about where the back pain really comes from and share top strategies that vets can use to finally break free from it. So I'm going to cover the hidden cause of back pain, practical fixes you can start today, and a veteran-approved blueprint to stay strong, mobile, and pain-free. So number one, the hidden cause that nobody talks about. Most veterans will blame, a lot of veterans will think that the workout is the cause of their back pain or their job is the cause of their back pain. But often the pain shows up after the activity, right? So the culprit, slouch sitting after exertions, usually sitting with slumped or slouched posture, right? So let's say you played a game of basketball, then right after you go sit or slouch, or you're like traveling somewhere and you're slouching, and then after that hard, PT, that fitness, lifting, run or ruck, those joints and tissues are loosened, right? They're warmed up, but then you slouch and now you're further stretching those tissues, right? While in the car or the couch, those distant soft tissues become more vulnerable. And then this leads to more strain than the actual activity itself on the low back. So when I was in the Marines, I'd finish like a ruck or collapse in a chair and then wonder why my back was locked up the next day. It wasn't the ruck, it was my recovery posture. See, once I fixed that, things change. And that's like a common pattern I see in a lot of people with low back pain. It's not the actual sport or whatever physical activity that they do, it's actually how they relax or recover. And usually time, a lot of people, the relaxation is, sitting in front of a TV or scrolling on the phone, slouched in a slouched, bent over posture. Number two, so what are the practical fixes you can do to help you with your back pain, get, recovery? So one is posture reset, right? After every activity, even if it's work related, right? Make sure you're sitting tall, good posture, or if you're standing, let's say you have a standing job, stand with good posture. Don't slouch, because you can even slouch when you're standing. Use a lumbar support or lumbar pillow you place on your low back. I'm a big fan of the McKenzie roll, so you can look up the McKenzie method and the McKenzie lumbar roll. I'm actually a diplomat in that method. Very effective for low back pain, but you can put the McKenzie roll in your low back, in your lower back as you're sitting to help promote good posture. And then introduce a movement snack, right? Interrupt prolonged sitting. Every hour, every 2 hours, get up from your chair or get up from standing, change your position, and then walk around, stretch your low back, or if you were standing, do some seating stretches, or if you're sitting, stand up and do some standing stretches. So you want to just change your position, and even just walking, right? If this is complicated, just go for a walk, right? Just stop whatever you're doing after an hour or two and go for a walk for like a few minutes, and then come back to your job or whatever you're doing. Mobility drills. So you also want to make sure you're doing daily mobility work for your back. So think exercise. I'm a big fan of yoga stretches, things like daily cat camel, cobra press ups, hip flexor stretching. So these keep your spine and hips moving freely. So the hips are also married to the low back. A lot of times people with low back pain also have stiff hips. If you open up both, they helps get low back relief. So you want to spend at least a few minutes stretching, about 3 to 5 minutes. You can do a morning, evening routine, so you get daily mobility work, and you hit it twice a day to keep your back nice and limber to help decrease your back pain. You also want to strength train, right? At least 2 times a week. Things like deadlifts, rows, pull-ups, carry variations, things like farmer's walk, ruck heights, or even suitcase carry. We carry on like one hand. So strong backs, strength training allows the back to be strong, so it doesn't break or be vulnerable easily to like injury or just even sitting slouched, right? So you do strength training, and some people may need to strengthen even more often. Like sometimes people need to do 3 times a week of strength training, or even 4 times a week of strength training, right? So you're gonna have to find what works for your body. So one of my clients had recurring back pain after every workout. The breakthrough came when we focus on 2 things. How they were addressing their posture during their downtime and, just sitting in front of a desk at work, and making sure to add strength training during their training plan, right? They did some strength training, but it wasn't enough of the stimulus to proper strengthening their back muscles. So we did make sure they were progressively going heavier and also doing carries, right? They weren't doing any type of carry work in their plan. So weighted the farmer's walks, the suitcase walks, and within 6 weeks, his bad back wasn't holding him back anymore. His pain was much less. It was like a moderate to severe level, and I was like very mild, barely noticed it. So the veteran's blueprint for a pain-free back. So you also want to make sure you do aerobic exercise because aerobic exercise also helps decrease pain, helps improve circulation in the body. It doesn't have to be super complicated, 3 to 5 times a week. You could walk, run, and you could do some. You can mix it up. You can do a combination of different things. You could walk, you could run, you could bike. Make sure when biking though you have good posture. Keep good posture when doing that. You could swim. You could do rowing on like a rower machine, or if you have access to a kayak, or you could go row your boat. All right. So aerobic exercise again helps improve your circulation. It can also build resilience and durability in the body because you're just up and around, moving. It's a good break from just sitting too long. And obviously, you could also play sports as well. Organized sports can count as a cardio, right? You could go play a game of basketball, soccer, football, etc. Recovery habits. Make sure you're also sleeping, right? Make sure you're getting enough sleep, at least 7 hours a night. It's underrated tool for healing. A lot of times people look at recovery hacks and just not sleeping enough, right? Sleep at least 7 hours a night. Nutrition, eat whole foods, but not too much, right? You don't want to overeat because then you'll become obese or overweight. And mostly plants. Yes, you can have some steak and you can have bacon and stuff, but also have your fruits and veggies. So dropping excess weight reduces spine stress and mindset. Don't quit the activities you love. Fix the way you recover from them. Right. So you don't have to give up running or give up lifting because of back pain. You may have to modify it for the time being, but it is possible to get back to those things at full capacity, assuming you don't have like a catastrophic injury. And you just need the proper mindset. So many times people get into this negative mindset and then they spiral downwards. They get depressed because they can't run or they can't lift. Try to keep a positive mindset and find ways how you can adapt and overcome, right? Instead of making excuses. Sometimes people make excuses. Oh, I can't. I don't have enough time to do the mobility exercise. Oh, Ray, you don't understand. I don't have enough time to go to the gym and strength training. Where there's a will, there's a way. You can modify things, and you could also strength train from home, right? You could buy some dumbbells, bands, and strength train from home. I've seen too many vets told to take it easy, right? And then they kind of take that for like long-term advice. Sure, a very severe injury, you could take it easy for the first week or so, but then you want to start ramping it back up again. And unfortunately, they get deconditioned, right? Because then they're like, oh, I'm never going to move. I'm not going to exert. Sure, they'll go to work and stuff, but they're not going to exert themselves because they're afraid that if they run or lift again, that they're going to get injured. And that ends up happening is that over time they get deconditioned. And that deconditioned disguised, and you think you're being safe, you're actually getting more and more frail or deconditioned. So you don't need to quit whatever sport or activity you love to do. You just need to train smarter. You need a smart system. So vets, don't let back pain be your life sentence. With the right posture, mobility, strength, and recovery, you can get back to running, lifting, or even doing martial arts if that's your jam without fear. So if you want more tools to help you rebuild your strength, discipline, and speed, also have a free training called Running Pain Free. It was originally meant for runners, but also you can adapt those tools to other sports as well. And if you're really interested in working with me one-to-one, you could fill out the application on there and we could hop on a call to book a call for a free strategy call to help you give like a consult on what to do for your back pain. I also work with other injuries as well. So link in the description and I'll see you on the inside.